Slight correction, I am Ashutosh and my rank was 208 actually. Had it been 242, I would have been allotted IRS. So I am IPS from CSE 2015. And first of all, lot of congratulations to all of you for being the chosen few. I have this knowledge, sir has told me that there were some initial screening examinations also which you passed through for coming to this place. And a lot of people, they want to be here. But any aspirant at some point of time during the preparation, he or she wishes to come to the Mecca of preparation, that is Delhi. But not everyone is fortunate enough like you all who gets the opportunity to be here. Now it is an opportunity, it is a privilege. Along with that, it is a responsibility also. Since you are here, many of you might have left your native place to come here. So take this responsibility that I'll make the most out of it, out of this opportunity. Yeah, pleasure. Make this commitment to yourself, not to anybody else, not to any organization, to yourself and your parents, your families, that since I have been given this opportunity, I will not let this slip away. See, there's one saying, I don't know if I read it somewhere or it just came out of me. Sometimes it happens, no, some things you directly read, some things you might have read something like that, and it dawns on your mind on a later date, even after you have read. You don't make correct decisions. You take a decision and then you make it correct. So now, see, it is a very, it can be said, a lot of people think in these lines that it is a very dicey decision of starting the preparation for civil services. When I took this decision, since I was already working, I had to, I prepared along with the job, and for some point of time, I had to keep my job aside. I took a leave without pay. A lot of my seniors who were my peer colleagues, they said that, okay, it is a very dicey decision. How can you be so sure going for something so uncertain like civil services when you are already in a secure job? It was in a PSU, well paying also. Then this line dawned on me that, okay, now that I have taken this decision of preparing for civil services, it becomes my responsibility to make it a correct decision. And by some effort of mine, by blessings of my parents and well-wishers, I got through. Now it is your turn to make your decision, since you have already taken the decision, and I would like to congratulate you for being in a good institute. And here the best part will be that since the crowd is not that much, you all will be getting a personalized attention from the teachers. I will also be meeting you in some classes. I take internal security and international relations here. Since I am an IPS, I have some inherent attachment to internal security. So on that front also we'll be meeting. And the basic philosophy here is that we don't believe in teaching or anything, we believe in mentorship. The difference between teaching and mentorship is that in teaching, the job of the teacher is to impart whatever knowledge he has to impart, rest is up to you. While the mentor, he practically holds your hand to make it possible that you get your goal. That is the job, that is the goal. Your goal is the goal of your mentor. So today, how many of you are in Delhi for the first time for preparing, or you've already been studying here? A lot of people are for the first time. So you completed your graduation from your native place, or?
Sir, I completed from Allahabad.
From Allahabad? You studied in Allahabad University or ECC?
No sir, I am engineering, triple IT.
Motilal?
Triple IT.
Triple IT Allahabad. Okay. Okay. Very important question I missed. How many of you are engineers? Okay, very few engineers. Good. That means the average IQ of the class will be good. See, I can afford to say that because I myself am an engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. Sorry. So it's good. See, the beauty of this examination is your background doesn't matter very much. Earlier when the CSAT pattern was there, when the marks of CSAT were included, the engineers had a slight edge during preliminary examination only. After that, everyone is equal. So today I'll talk about a few topics, a few things, a few basic things. Basically, these are the things which I learned when I was preparing from my mistakes, from the mistakes of my seniors who told me. See, there are three types of people. The stupid people who don't learn from their mistakes. The commoners, the normal people, the average people who learn from their own mistakes. And then there are the intelligent people who learn from the mistakes of others. So even if some of you might think that you are not so intelligent, first of all, let me tell you that is a myth. And even if you believe in that myth, intelligence is something which you can very easily inculcate in yourself. Now if you think that some people are born intelligent or a person is born the way he is, I think for this examination it doesn't matter. The intelligence needed for this examination, I'm not talking about some intelligence like some people have super memory power, they can remember numbers of 12 digits or 15 digits. Anyway, that is not needed. So talking about this examination, whatever level of intelligence, whatever type of intelligence is needed in this examination, it can very easily be cultivated. So I hope, and I'm sure that most of you are already intelligent, but if someone thinks that he or she is not that intelligent, together we'll be inculcating intelligence also. The best part of this examination is your hard work, your perseverance is what matters the most, nothing else. This examination is mostly passed by mediocre students. See, the basic problem with very intelligent people is people who think that they are very intelligent is they don't put that much of hard work. Mediocre people, because they are aware of their mediocrity, they put a lot of hard work, and hard work is what is needed for this examination. So I wish you all the best. We will all get through. Now I'll be talking about some important things. The first thing is, how many of you have been reading newspapers regularly? Okay, reading newspapers is a very important thing for this examination, because for your general studies paper and even for many of the optionals, being abreast with, being aware of the current happenings in the country as well as the world, it is very important. You should be aware of what is happening around you, and around you includes your country and your global level. So the people who have not been reading newspapers, no issues. Most of the people who come to prepare, they start reading newspaper after coming to prepare. So, and the people who have been reading newspapers, let us give 4 or 5 minutes for learning the art of reading newspapers. See, reading newspapers for the sake of reading it, the way your parents or the way people who are not preparing read it, that is quite different from the way we the aspirants read the newspaper. They have this luxury of sitting on an easy chair on a balmy morning and read the newspaper. We don't have that luxury. Every action you take from today onwards, when you have started this journey of preparation, every action of yours has to be audited by you yourself. Whatever time you are devoting for anything, in the back of your mind, you must question. One question should always be in your mind: is this activity I'm doing, or is this time I'm devoting, is it helping me in moving towards my goal, or is it pulling me backward, or is it simply leaving me as I am? For example, if you're sitting with your friends and you are discussing something in a positive respect in a time efficient manner, jotting down points while discussing on any issue, that is helping you in your preparation, that is moving you forward towards your goal. Secondly, it was the first situation. Second situation, if you are merely wasting your time or simply sitting in your room watching a movie on the laptop, no, that is neither helping you nor pulling you down. It is just keeping you at a stagnant position. And suppose you are sitting with some negative people, even if they are preparing for this examination, and they keep talking about, okay, it is a very difficult examination, what the hell I came here, I should have gone for some job, there are so many job opportunities, I'm wasting my time. Now that is, they are pulling your leg, they are pulling you backward on this journey towards your goal. So always keep this in mind. You have to reduce the unproductive activities of yours, you have to increase the productive activities of yours. That is the simple philosophy for this preparation and for your life also. Have you heard the word Kaizen? Any one of you? You have heard the word, what does it mean? Improvement. Exactly. This is what Kaizen is, a Japanese philosophy. It was first implemented by Toyota, later Honda and Suzuki. Through Suzuki it came to Maruti. This means continuous improvement. It is a Japanese philosophy. Means every single moment, every next day, you should be a better person than you were the previous day. So how can we apply Kaizen to this journey of preparation? Every next day, you should be moving forward on this journey. You should, or you must, I will say, you must have learned something new on the previous day. You must have efficiently utilized your time. Okay? So we were talking about newspaper reading. What is the efficient and proper newspaper reading? Our newspaper reading happens with pen and paper in hand. Any newspaper, for the people who have not started reading newspapers, it is very good, because from the day one they will start with full efficiency. The people who have already reading, they will see this transformation in their style of reading. We read the newspapers with pen and paper in hand. See, today you are starting your preparation. Even if you go for the 2017 attempt, the mains examination is to be held from 28th of October. Means October. Still there is about 7-8 months left. So if you are reading newspaper, I understand you have understood it very well. Any news article you are reading, you have understood very well. But any normal human being, other than some superhuman figure, he will not be able to remember it after 7 months. That is a guaranteed fact. And if you think that I'll take newspaper clippings, Now every day, almost on a very conservative estimate, 3 to 4 newspaper articles are important for exam point of view, at least 3 to 4. Now 3 to 4 newspaper articles into 30 days into 7 months. How much this becomes? It becomes approximately 630, 650. 630 or 650 clippings, I can guarantee you from my own experience, you will not be able to revise it. So what you have to do, if you are reading newspaper, first of all, be aware of your syllabus, examination syllabus of the general studies. Any newspaper, first of all, the first step is you go through the whole newspaper without reading much, just reading the headlines. By just reading the headlines, you can put a tick mark, okay, these are the newspaper articles which are important for exam point of view. For example, any political news. If you are somewhat aware about the politics of Uttar Pradesh, a tussle is going on between the father and the son. Recently it has been resolved that who will take the election symbol of cycle. No, that is not important for you. Day by day commentary is not important for you. What becomes important for you from that news article is how the election commission allots the symbols. How are the distribution of symbols happening for regional parties and for national parties? Everybody is okay with English, I hope?
Yes.
Okay. So these things become important. But for example, some foreign dignitary visitors or this Raisina Hills dialogue was going on. Any news article on Raisina Hill dialogues, it will become important because from that you get to know what is our foreign policy, what is the views of other countries regarding our foreign policy. Don't worry if you're not understanding these words. If all these are appearing as jargons, wait for just 7 to 10 days, 15 days, 1 month. You'll all be using these jargons very frequently. Don't worry if you're not understanding it. The thing I'm saying is make a habit of taking notes of newspapers. About books and other things, whether you have to take notes of books or not, that is a separate issue altogether, and it depends on individual. Some people study well by taking notes of their books, whatever they're reading. Some people can manage with just underlining important portions. That is your individual perspective, or we can discuss on it on some later day. But newspaper reading, no excuses, no exceptions. Everybody should and must take notes. The reasons for taking notes is, first, if you take your own notes, you will have your own handwritten notes of current affairs. Now these will be specifically tailor-made for you by you. It will be very easy for you to revise them at the time of the examination. Second, when you are reading the article, you keep on underlining, and then after you have read it, take the notes of that article. Now by doing this, first you will be reading it and underlining, and a second revision will happen at that time also when you are taking notes. You understood it? So make a habit of taking notes of the newspaper. Initially, when you read the newspaper, you might think that it might appear to you that every news article is important. But gradually, after 15-20 days, you will get this filter in your mind, which news items are important and which have just to be. There are 3 types of news items. First, which you don't even have to read. By just reading the headline, you can skip it. Second, which you have to read, but there is nothing as such for making notes. For example, any issue is going on and some new development happens, they will report it on a very broad way, but you get only one line for it, that this thing happened. Headline can be used as a case study or an example in your answers on a later date. And third type of are mostly those news articles, analytical ones written by some experts, which normally appear on the editorial page and the op-ed page, open editorial page, where experts write their views or analysis. Those news items become important for the point of view of examination, and these are the items of which we have to take proper notes. Got it? One more point of concern which you will gradually get to know once you start doing this exercise. Don't try this, that I'll be doing newspaper, then I'll make notes. Because reading the newspaper itself takes about 1.5 hours, and after that you might get tired and you might think that, okay, I'll make notes in the evening. Then you'll think, okay, I'll make the notes of today's and tomorrow's newspaper together when I'll read tomorrow's newspaper. Then you'll think, okay, I'll make notes on Sundays. This way it will keep on postponing. So you read one article, first you make note of that article. If it is a worthy article of making notes, then move on to the second article. Okay? So that is the art of newspaper reading, and when you start like this, you might encounter some difficulties also. Don't worry, we'll be here to sort out your difficulties as and when they arise. Currently, if you're not getting a gist of it because you haven't read newspaper in your life till now, no issues, you'll get all these points. The second thing is the power of revision. Now, this is one thing which is very important for this examination. See, like any other examination, this examination, though it is a bit different from other examinations in the sense that there is a lot of analysis involved in it, particularly in mains papers. A lot of analysis of issues involved. You have to develop your own views, and from how you will develop your own views? By reading or listening to the views of many experts, you will develop your own views, and then you'll have to present your own views in your own words. That is the basic theme of this examination. Your university examinations which you might have taken, they're a bit different because mostly that doesn't involve that much of analytics, though some part of analytics is always involved in any examination. And what is common is in this examination also, in spite of all the analysis involved, all these big things involved, you cannot skip remembering things. You'll have to remember a few things. You'll have to learn few things by heart. Not much of data. No, you don't need all that data, the percentages or that, but a few data might also be needed, and few things you might have to remember. So this thing is very important. Because of the sheer size of the syllabus and so many things, you have to keep on revising constantly. Revision is not something in this examination. Revision is not something which happens 10 days or 15 days or a month before the examination. Here we adopt a process of continuous revision, so that by the end most of the syllabus is already in our heads. We'll just have to brush it up. So what is the process of this revision? First of all, you can decide on your own. I am telling you what I decided. Everybody has his or her own rhythm of things, so you can alter it suiting to your own personal needs. The first thing is, on a weekly basis, you should revise whatever you have learned. When you make a plan of your studies, always make 6 days plan. Leave the 7th day purely for revision. And what other thing you can do, suppose you made a 6-day plan and you missed on some things. Someday you planned that you'll read in the evening, but you slipped and you slipped in discipline, and you went out with some friend, or you wasted some time while just gossiping or talking about back home and everything. See, we are mere mortals. This should not be frequent, but at times this happens. So 7th day is reserved for backup. Whatever the 6-day plan, whatever you have not done, that should be completed on 7th day along with revision. So weekly revisions. Along with that, on a monthly basis, you can just flip. If you are doing weekly revisions, monthly revisions will become very easy. You just flip through your notes once and everything will be revised. There is one more thing, a very powerful technique, which I am also practicing right now. I could not practice this very much. I am giving you this technique, and you also use it. Let's see what happens. It is a very powerful technique. I'm saying this because a lot of people have benefited a lot from this. Personally, I have not been able to implement it very well because of my own procrastination, or whatever you can say. That is this technique which says that after reading 1 hour, devote 10 hours. You read 1 hour, then 10 hours, 10 minutes. Then just for 10 minutes, you think, close the notebook or keep it away from your side, and you just try to remember, is he sleeping? Your neighbor? No, you are imbibing everything. So after reading for 1 hour, you just close your eyes and try to recall what you have read in those 1 hour. You can even take a piece of paper and try to write down the points. There will be some points which you will not be able to recall. Right then and there, go back, see in your notebook, and then write it there. Now this is a very strong technique. I used it for some days, then somehow I slipped. See, the most beautiful part is, whatever things I missed during recall and I went back and saw it there, that thing I never forgot for an entire year, and it was very easily because I could relate to it. I could relate this. See, your mind works in such a way that it does not exactly put informations. It puts information in form of events, stories, and things like that. Now, since that thing was related to an event, I could very easily recall it later on, because I could recall the event that, okay, this was the thing I also forgot while revising. Now, if you can do this, it will be a very powerful technique. You should also try to do this. Other thing is, which you will able to write, comprehend at a later date, is answer writing. At this initial phase of preparation, when you are starting your preparation, you might not able to write answers directly. But after, say, 3 months or 2.5 months, when some portion would have been covered, you might have got a grasp of what the syllabus is. Everybody has got the syllabus, I think. Take this syllabus, read it at least 10 times today only before sleeping. So your syllabus should be completely in your mind 10 times today only. And after that, paste it somewhere. If it is printed on both sides, take a photocopy. Wherever you study. If you study on a table, paste it on a table. A lot of people have a habit of studying on bed, no issues with that. Paste it on a wall in your room in front of you, so that your sight falls on it on a regular basis. Anyways, as I've discussed, that whenever you are reading newspaper, you got a newspaper article, you put your syllabus along with it and see which part of syllabus does this newspaper article relate to. You're getting my point? Initially, you might have to look back in your syllabus, but after only 10 or 15 days, when you have looked so many times in your syllabus, it will be completely by your heart, and you'll not have to look back. Just by seeing the newspaper article, you'll remind, okay, this is related to the public distribution system, or this is related to the social issues globalization part, or this is related to land reforms. Okay, like if somebody might have gone through newspaper reports of issues happening in West Bengal in last few days. There have been agitation going on. People are protesting against land acquisition by the government for purpose of making a substation of power grid corporation. Now, when you say, okay, it is directly related to land issues, economics part, all these things. So, this general studies very important. And the best part of this new syllabus after 2013 is that most of the part they have given a very detailed general studies syllabus. Point wise exactly the whole topics which if you prepare, it will be very beneficial for you. Okay, so answer writing is very important. You have to practice this answer writing thing, and you might start it after say 2 months is a good time. After that you have to start answer writing. And then we have our NCRTs. How many of you heard about these NCRT books? You might have read also during your school days. So here also school days will be revisited, and you will have to read these NCRTs. Now this is some, have you all, are there some people who have read NCRT books already? Not as part of their school syllabus, means after the, okay. So these are the basic knowledge. Directly questions are coming from NCRTs. You cannot skip this. You cannot afford to skip them. And please be very respectful towards NCRTs. ऐसा मत सोचिए कि तो class 6 की book है, why do I need to read it and everything like that. See, it is very important. All this knowledge comes from here. Mostly 6 to 12. I'll also be giving you a list which are to be read. See, 6, 7, 8, most of them are very small. You can complete in one day only. But don't skip them because it gives a sense of completion if you read them also. You might find it very easy. I know you might find it very easy, 6, 7, 8. But if they are very easy, complete them in 1 or 2 hours and move forward. So NCRTs, very important. Actually, NCRTs are normally regarded as that they are a precondition. Before coming for preparation, you should have read your NCRTs thoroughly. No issues. If you haven't read it, you can go parallel to it. Devote some time. You'll be able to complete it in no matter of time. And NCRTs, you don't have to read just once. This is the beauty of the NCRTs. Any number of time you read it, you gain new knowledge. You gain new insight. I have read it many of times, but still, if I go through any NCRT, something new pops up. Every time, something new pops up. So this NCRT part, at the very beginning, if you have to do two most important things, depending upon the time available, you can go and diversify. First will be your NCRTs, and second will be your newspaper reading starting. Along with that, your class, whatever. See, there is a whole lot of material available in the market. On website, so many number of websites and internet study material available. You have to choose your sources judiciously. Getting my point? Because although, in spite of the fact that infinite material is available, but we don't have infinite time. Neither do we have infinite mental capacity to remember or learn all this material. So have this priority list. First priority is your class notes, whatever you are being taught in your class. Second is your, see, NCRTs I'm writing here because that is the precondition. NCRTs I'm not writing here. Second will be the printed material which you get from your coaching. Some material will be given from here also. You have to go through that. Third is your some standard books will be told. Then internet and everything, whatever you wish. Normally NCRTs plus newspaper is in the background. It is like the watermark on any paper. Irrespective of what is written, watermark is always there. Normally NCRTs plus, along with reading newspapers, your time might be exhausted in reading these two. If you are good enough, you might get time for these standard books. And if you still have time, go for all this internet material. But first priority should be your class notes, then printed, then standard books. And don't go for any substandard material, especially in terms of websites. The best source is the government websites. I'm telling you a few websites, you can diversify accordingly. PIB, Press Information Bureau. See, the requirement of this examination is that whatever knowledge is expected from an informed citizen of a country, that is expected from an aspirant. So PIB, Press Information Bureau, is the mode through which the government communicates with the people. Whatever the government thinks that the citizen of the country should know, they put it on PIB. Maybe about some schemes, maybe some parliamentary questions and their answers. Everything is put, some summit happened, the outcomes of that summit, everything is put here on PIB. You should take a look at PIB every day. Now, some press releases, they are of very informative nature, you might skip it. For example, every 15 days a press release is there about the price of crude oil of India basket. You don't need to read that. Or some data happens, you don't need to go through that. So, PIB. The second is PRS, www.prs.org. Now, all the bills, whatever bills passed or pending in the parliament, along the, not only the pure text, because pure text of the bill is in very legal jargon. It cannot be understood by normal people. Here the bill summary is also there. Analysis of the bills is there. If some bill is referred to some standing committee, the recommendations of the committee is there. So this PRS, this organization is also involved in giving assistance to our parliamentarians. PRS, they prepare their bill summary, and that bill summary is also used by the MPs for debating on the bill, for deciding on the bill. So it is like right from the horse's mouth. PRS is important source. Then you have one IDSA. IDSA is about your foreign policy, internal security, basically strategic issues you can go through here. There are a number of websites are there. You can go through ministry's website. Any ministry you want to know about any schemes, they are put on their websites. And don't rely too much on Wiki. See, Wiki or Wikipedia, it is an important source when you have some idea about the topic and you want exact verbal representation of that idea or exact definition of something. But if you are not aware of something and you wiki it first, because wiki is a site which anybody can edit, you all must be knowing that. So if you don't know about something and some erroneous information is there, that will be fed to you. So I'm not saying completely discard wiki, but don't put it on a very high priority list. If you go search for something, Arthapedia is a very important website. Arthapedia, about economic issues. This page is managed by IRS officers. So any definitions and everything, it is here. You can research. Suppose you want to search for something, you put it on search, and number of search pages will be shown. We all have this temptation of going for the first page, and mostly the first page is the Wikipedia page. Go through 4 or 5 more results. If you see any government website, that is the most authentic thing. Go through that. You can also purchase India yearbook. If not now, maybe after March, new edition will be released. It is not something which you have to read because it is about this much thick. You don't have to read from back to back. No, it is a reference book. Whenever you are reading about something, suppose you are reading about agriculture or you are reading about textile industry. Now you take out your India yearbook, 5 or 10, say 15 pages are on textile industry. You read those 15 pages, and whatever relevant information you get, you can always write down on the sideline of your notes only. Getting my point? So these are some basic practical things which I shared with you. These things you'll be able to comprehend more as and when you grow in this field of preparations. And see, now that you have come here, you have taken the decision, make the most out of it. There will be bouts of nervousness. Suppose in any test you get less marks or some any situation comes. I can very safely say that very few people don't feel any nervousness and they get through. There are people like that also. But most of the people, they have their own shares of slumps and troughs. Sometimes you feel very static and very confident. Sometimes you feel a little low. Don't worry about it. All this is a part of game. The basic thing is you have to remember your goal, and you have to remember one thing. Whatsoever situation might come in your life also, so always remember no situation is bigger than you. Any problem which you are facing today, which you feel that this is a life-changing situation, I cannot get out of it. Sit for some time. Remember, earlier there have been situations when you have thought exactly the same thing, that I cannot get out of this now. This is the ultimate doom. This is the ultimate failure. And you, by your own strength, by your own efforts, you have passed that phase also. Always remember, this too shall pass. This phase of gloom shall pass. The negative aspect is if you dwell too much into it and if you waste too much of your time for that. We don't have the luxury of graduality. We don't have the luxury of paucity. All we have to do is be on top gear right from the beginning. We don't need an extra attempt. See, the feeling of getting selected in first attempt is entirely different. Even if you get a good rank, a very good rank in the second attempt, even if you become a topper in your successive attempt, second, third or any attempt, you will be called a topper in third attempt. You will never be called a person who got selected in one go. And that is entirely a different feeling. So have this goal. Don't aim low. Have this goal of getting selected, getting whatever your desired service is in first go. And it is achievable. See, by proper guidance, all of you are sitting here, you have below, you are at least above average, above a lot of people if you're sitting here today. You just need a little guidance, a little dedication and discipline, and you'll be through. Be confident and make the goal of getting selected in first attempt, not a goal of getting selected in first attempt, and we all will be through. Okay, thank you for your time, and we'll be meeting further. Now Nikhil Pathak, he'll be joining you. He got the rank 107 and he's also an IPS officer. He'll tell you more about something. Have you decided options? Okay, so we'll talk about options if you have any problem. We'll talk about options also. Okay, so thank you and all the best. Be cheerful, be happy. Whole purpose of this examination, job, everything is to be happy. A lot of people have this feeling. Just one last thing I'd like to add. A lot of people have this feeling that if this happens, then I'll be happy. If I get selected, then I'll be happy. If I get to marry the person I want to marry, then I'll be happy. Okay, I'm not saying don't get selected or don't marry to the person you want. Don't. So be happy right now, and then do whatever you want to do. Be happy, then get selected. Be happy. Very commoners, innocent mortals like me, I have this feeling that if I get to eat a good pizza today, I'll be happy. Small happiness. Be happy and go and eat the pizza. Be happy and so always have a cheerful, a positive mindset. That is also required for examination also. So be enthusiastic, be happy. Sky is the limit. All the best.
Thank you, sir.